In this lesson, we will correct the deformations of the beard. Now, before getting started, I'd like to point out that I've tweaked the U shape just slightly, smoothing out the skin underneath the nose for a more accurate looking pose. Alright, great. So let's go ahead and get right into the lesson. We can bring back the hair and also the beard. Now, going back to that U shape, you can see exactly why we need to fix the beard's deformations. We're getting a lot of intersecting. Alright, so let's go ahead and get right to it. We don't need the weight tag nor the skin object that's tied to the beard because we'll be deforming it with our mesh deformer. Now, speaking of the mesh deformer, our deform head is going to need to change. We need to create a brand new one based off of our new changes. So let's go ahead and open up a new Objects Manager. We'll grab the base head. We're going to go ahead and clone that. And now, selecting the original deform head, let's go ahead and copy its name. And now we can go ahead and remove this object and use that for the new face. I'll go ahead and drag this back underneath the male face hierarchy, and we place it right underneath the base head out of that hierarchy. Okay, great. So now what we could do is actually go into the mesh deformers tied to the brows. We can go ahead and update those with the new deformer. I'll choose Initialize. Let's go back to the next. Add that and choose Initialize. Let's test this out, making sure everything's working. Great. Alright, we'll check the right side out. Beautiful. Alright, so now we need to add a mesh deformer to the beard. So with that selected, I'm just going to go ahead and hold down Shift and add that to this object so it's nested underneath. We'll rename this to mesh_beard01. We'll set the accuracy to 0. External is set to surface, and now we'll add our new face in. Choose Initialize. Now, very important, we're working with a brand new mesh. What that means is that our post-morph channels are separated right now. So if we were to go to the U shape on our base head, we're not going to see any change. However, if we were to go ahead and do so for the deform head, you can see that we get that sliding we need. We get that extra amount of deformation on the beard, and everything still works just fine. We can go to the jaw and start to move that around. Beautiful. Alright, so we'll need to tie the two channels together so we can work with them more conveniently. Let's go ahead and select the post-morph tag of the base head, and let's go ahead and create a copy of our attributes manager. So we'll load this in. And now we can go ahead and select the post-morph that's tied to our deform head, that is. Let's go ahead and lock this down. And I'm going to go ahead and create an espresso tag. And I'll tie that to the don't touch group that we've made. Alright, so I'll just minimize this. We can go ahead and rename this tag. I'll just go ahead and double click on it. And I'm going to go ahead and rename this to Espresso_FaceMorph01. Okay. That's good to go. We could go ahead and start to add in our post-morph nodes. So I'll add the base heads node. And then for the second one here, for the deform head, it's a good idea to go in and rename this so they don't share the same name. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a suffix of mesh DFRM. And now we can go ahead and add that to the X group. Okay, so it's just a matter of adding our inputs and outputs. So from the base head, we'll go to Tag Properties, and we can go ahead and add these in order. So first was the smile. So I'll go ahead and find the smile strength. And then I'll go ahead and add the small strength to the input of the deform heads node. And now it's just a matter of wiring the two together. So if we were to take a look at this, going back to the tag tab, you'll see that when we go to animate mode, let's go to animate mode for both. We could always crank down the two weights here for the mouth open and the F shape, but you'll see that when we start to use the smile, it's also driving the smile of the deform head. So that's the process here to tie the rest of these together. I'll go ahead and do this once more, so you have the process down, and then I'll go ahead and pause the video and take care of the others. So next was the frown. Go to the frown strength, and then go ahead and tie that in, and then wire them together. It's as simple as that. So now testing this out, now we have both frowns. Great. So again, I'll pause the video and take care of the other channels. Okay, so all the channels have been wired together. So we can always test this out. Say going to our U shape. Beautiful. How about our sneer? Well, that's not going to do much. The mouth open should give us some change. Now there are a few shapes that we may want to go back and tweak. So the F shape, you can see how we have this weird pull from the beard. So all we need to do is actually tweak the deform head's cage. We don't need to do anything to our base head. And since the deform head is going to be invisible, we won't see any of the weird warps that we're about to add to that mesh in order to fix this. So let's go ahead and fully crank up the weight of our F shape here. All right, just to take a look at the beard. I'm going to go back to edit mode. I'm going to go to the F shape and make sure that it's also cranked up on both sides. Okay, so now we can go in and hide our base head. And just go ahead and find a point on the lower lip, right in the center. Just go to point mode. Also go to wireframe mode. Now we can start to tweak this to fix the beard. So I'll just go to the move tool and just pull that over and around. Can go to the next point and do the same until we have a much better looking beard deformation. Alright, great. So as you can see, let's go back to our model mode. If we were to go ahead and hide the deform head and show our base head, go back to shaded mode, again you can see that we get a much better shape now, and it's just a matter of tweaking that channel. Alright, so if we were to go back to animate mode and take a look, and we're getting much better deformations. So the same thing goes for our M shape. We may need to do the same thing, but we know the process now. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that in between lessons. But that's our last step. So in the next lesson, we're ready to autocorrect the mouth as that opens using our mouth open target. And then in the next lesson after, we'll go ahead and create animation channels to drive all of our pose morphs.